Hello, Dougie. Delighted to be having a second chat with you. How are you, sir?
I'm very good, thank you. Good afternoon. So I'm just
Good.
putting my phone on mute because there's
Yeah.
amateur.
So I
Yeah,
think it
I'm good,
actually.
thank you.
I'm
How are you?
I'm very well, thanks. Bad weather in
Excellent. Like the
Liverpool, but
backdrop.
yeah. Do you like it? Red Bus movies. That's what I want to
Very
focus our
impressive.
chat on about. But before we get there, we talk about your career as a writer and a filmmaker, and linking with your background as well. You're an active member of the British Legion and the Falklands War Veterans Association. Can you tell us about your
I am.
involvement with these?
Yeah. Well, I didn't really get involved. I mean, this background
Yeah.
behind. I mean, if I go, hang on, if I go that way, right.
Yeah.
That there's a rumor that that gentleman there, you see there,
Yeah.
by my arm,
Yeah.
can't get my finger. He's
I know.
about round
Yeah.
about
Got on.
there.
Yeah.
Uh, that is me.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's
Waving them
supposed to
in,
be me. Now, huh?
waving them in.
Yeah, no, I was walking away, but that's during on Ascension Island during the Falklands War, and yeah, I think I was coming back. I think it was about 40 years ago, 41 years ago. I was
Yeah,
coming back round about now,
yeah,
actually, after the war had all finished, obviously.
yeah.
And then when I left the Air Force in 1994 and kind of severed all links with the military, and then I wasn't involved in any veteran stuff at all. It just didn't interest me. And then I got roped into a few years ago. Stan Collymore said something he really shouldn't have said about the Falklands.
Yeah.
And he suggested that we'd stolen the Falklands from the Argentinians.
Oh,
And I got involved in this massive campaign this anti-Stan Collymore campaign,
yeah,
um, which got to involve, I mean, we were protesting outside Talk Sport. There was all sorts of crap went on. We got lots of press coverage as well, which was quite interesting at the time.
yeah,
And after that, I kind of realized what is this massive community there, and I actually really enjoyed being back and part of it. So I got involved with the Falklands Veterans Association, SAMA 82,
yeah,
and started doing the cenotaph marches and stuff like that, which was really, really good fun. Um, and it's just carried on, really. I'm getting more active. I will be more active from now on. We've actually, oh, I can't really talk about it, but
oh,
we're in the process of setting up a new Royal British Legion branch
yeah,
um, for Watford. Watford hasn't got a Royal British Legion. So we're in the process of setting one up. It's all been authenticated. It hasn't been announced properly yet. But once that goes, that will kickstart a lot of other stuff we want to do. And I'm working, Luther Blissett, who is my hero.
yeah,
He's involved with a lot of veteran stuff in and around Watford. And he got me involved in all that, really. And we're planning to do lots of really exciting stuff. Some of it involving the club,
yeah.
um, and we do the Armed Forces Day. We had our first Armed Forces Day this year in Watford. They never had one before.
Hmm.
Next year will be much bigger because really we wanted to see how it would work in terms of location and numbers and events and stuff like that. And we set it up really late. I mean, it was Luther's partner Lauren who did the bulk of the work. To be fair,
Yeah.
but we set it up really late. But she pulled it off. I mean, we had a great day. We had a five-a-side game,
Hmm.
walking football. So we had all our vets there. Luther played as well.
I
I
can play that.
refereed because my knees are knackered.
Yeah.
So next year we'll have a proper five-a-side tournament we're organising, which
Excellent.
will be veterans from all over the place. And there's loads of other stuff going on, all driven by Luther and his partner Lauren, who's like this dynamo of energy. She's
Yeah.
amazing.
I saw pictures of yourself with Luther getting his OBE at Windsor Castle.
Yeah,
Special day.
there'd been a move. There'd been moves to try and get him some kind of award because he was a trailblazer in many
Yeah,
ways.
yeah,
He went through that period, not just with Watford when him and Graham Taylor and all the
yeah.
others kind of forged this entity that became Watford FC.
Hmm.
And but then he went on, to play in Italy. He was the first black player to score a hat trick for England.
Yeah.
He did he's campaigned his anti-racism campaigns, pro-veteran campaigns, all the stuff he's done throughout the years.
Yeah.
and it was only right and proper that he was given some sort of recognition. And so a few of us got together, and we kind of started the process in terms of getting official recognition for him, because there's a clearly defined process of how you do it. And we pulled it off. You know, he got his OBE, which is richly deserved.
Yeah.
And because of all the veteran stuff we're doing, and because of, for various reasons, you're allowed to take 3 people with you.
Yeah.
For these things,
like so a graduation ceremony, I think.
Yeah, and he asked me if I wanted, I'd be interested in going, and it was like, well, what an honor! How can you not go?
Yeah.
So we had it was an amazing week. You know, we did things for the whole week, really, to celebrate it. But that was some occasion. I mean, I've been to Buckingham Palace before. I've never been to Windsor before.
Yeah.
It was amazing. You know, it's what an event, what an occasion. So it's humbling.
Must have been extremely proud of himself, and yourself as well. Proud of him, achievements recognised.
It was. I mean, I wasn't proud of myself. Is you know, we got it going, but he, you know, it was deserved. It was richly deserved, and it was great to see him get the recognition. And it's nice when you spend time with Luther. Everybody knows Luther.
Yeah.
Everybody recognises him. So it's wherever you go. So it was nice to, you know, for the people who were also getting awards, and there were 2 of the women's England team there as well getting stuff.
Yeah.
And it was just nice to see him acknowledged and recognised, and you know, by people who were some of them were going through an investiture themselves.
Yeah.
Just wanted to have a picture taken with Luther. It was as important as anything. It was amazing. It was an amazing day. Yeah, he's a great guy. I mean, he's a great guy.
Yeah.
You know, everyone who's met him, he is a legend at Watford, but he's also a fantastic bloke, because anyone who's ever met him will know.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant. That's I'm absolutely delighted for him. But moving on from there, just to mention your writing, you sold over 2 million books worldwide, making you one of the UK's most successful writers. And yet, as you say on your Dougie.com website, the most famous writer you've probably never heard of. Does that annoy you? Or are you just content with the volume of the sales?
It used to. I mean, a lot. To be fair, a lot of those books have been sold abroad. You know, I sell a lot of books in Russia and Belarus and Croatia and places like that. Yeah, the whole Russia thing's a massive story. I've been there a few times. It's amazing. It's an amazing place to go. But it used to annoy me when you see these people getting, you know, wine and dined and that sort of stuff, and they sell next to Jack books, really.
Yeah.
And but in the end, it was just like I'm not really interested in that world. I was, for a time, I was seeking some sort of affirmation from the world of publishing. Yeah. But in the end, I realised that my market isn't the traditional book reader. It's just blokes, you know, just mostly blokes. Yeah. Like me, lad, you know, working class lads. Yeah. And so they're not the sort of blokes who, you know, go wandering around independent bookshops and buying, you know, the latest trendy book. They know what they like. Yeah. People like me and Cass and, you know, Cass Pennant, Andy Nichols, you know, we were giving them what they wanted, and we were selling shitloads of books, and publishing didn't really they didn't know how to handle us. Yeah. So they just ignored us. Oh. You know, which was fine. We just kept going. The sad thing is, you know, that market's kind of died out now, and all those people are still not getting served by the world of publishing. You just get this endless stream of books by women complaining about blokes and what a crap time they have in life, and it's all our fault, and it's just like absolute crap. But what can you do? You can't do anything.
Well, so the sales themselves, you know? Yeah, don't blame me.
You know, it's hard. Well, publishing's hard anyway.
Yeah.
But when you're trying to pitch a book, I go in to pitch a book about blokes. You know, I'm 64. I'm old enough to, you know, and you're pitching to a 30-year-old woman, middle class woman from the suburbs with a university degree, and I'm pitching a book. You know, I'm a dad sitting opposite her, basically. Yeah. She doesn't want to deal with me. She doesn't understand me. She doesn't understand what I'm pitching to her. So just, you know, play safe, shift me on, and it's and I became bored of it. I became bored of that endless battle. So got out and went into film.
Brilliant. The breakthrough film for yourself, this was the Hollywood back Green Street, major international success. Did this change your life back in 2005? That film was released.
It did and it didn't. I mean, it has, looking back on it now, I mean, it was 18 years ago now.
Yeah.
Crazy. I mean, looking back on it now, it did, because now I do what I do, and I wouldn't have done it before. It didn't bring about the immediate change that I thought it would, in terms of offers of other work. And whether that was my fault or whatever, I don't know. I mean, there's a whole movie to be, it's certainly a book to be written about what happened on Green Street. It was a crazy time. But it did, yeah. I mean, it led me down a path I've, followed now, and I'm to the point where I'm making my own movies, really.
Yeah.
Or helping other people make movies.
Okay.
And so, I learned a lot on Green Street. Yeah. Pardon?
Red Bus Movies.
Yeah, Red Bus Movies. Yeah.
We've seen your pictures on Twitter and Facebook. You've had meetings in the House of Commons. Is this looking for some kind of government collaboration or investment into the film projects?
No, the House of Commons things never actually happened.
Oh.
It was a meeting with Johnny Mercer, who's the Veterans Minister.
Oh, yeah.
Minister for Veterans Affairs, and it's about something that Luther and I are working on. At the moment, and we're putting something together. I can't really talk about it at the moment.
Okay.
We're putting it's involving football.
Yeah.
We're putting something together, and but we want, because it's veteran related, we want Johnny Mercer involved, because he can open a lot of doors that we can't get through.
Yeah.
And so that was what that was about. We met him. We ended up meeting him at Watford instead. Because something happened on the House of Commons Day. It was I can't remember what it was, but he couldn't make it, or we couldn't do it, or something. There was a confusion, and but yeah, we've had meetings with him since, and there's lots of ongoing discussions with him. We're putting something together to present to him. But yeah, it's all to do with veterans and homeless veterans, and kind of bringing people in. I mean, you look at a lot of football clubs are doing some amazing stuff, but Sunderland in particular are doing some incredible things around veterans. Yeah. But most clubs do something, and what we want to do is kind of pull it together a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's more, make it bigger, and raise awareness of issues veterans have, not just of homelessness, but PTSD, mental health generally, employment. Transitioning into civilian street. And one of the things Red Bus Movies, one of the things I set up is that I want to employ as many veterans as possible on jobs, but also to bring people coming out of the military, give them opportunities to move into the world of film and TV, because a lot of the skills you pick up in the military are instantly transferable, because much of filmmaking is about logistics.
Oh yeah.
And the military logistics is what we do, so it's really interesting. It's all unfolding a bit slower than I like at the moment, but we're getting there. Okay,
this year you've released 2 short films, Battle Cry and Jack and Jill. You've written and directed this year. Are you writing these with an aim for film festivals to pick up awards and laurels?
Yeah, I mean, the shorts came about. I was doing something at British Forces Broadcasting Service. I was there for 6 months.
Yeah.
And I had to produce a short movie. And Jack and Jill was an idea that was presented, and I said, "Oh, I'd like to direct that." It was written by a guy called Phil Wright, who was also a veteran.
Yeah.
And it's a story about grief, really. It's just a one-man, pretty much a one-man play about grief.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed doing that. And then I was asked to do another one. I wanted to do another one, and that was based on a play called Battle Cry, which is a one-man play about a soldier suffering PTSD, and it was written by a guy called Steve Cowley, performed by him as well. And we wrote a script together, him and Matt Fox, who wrote the original. We kind of tweaked it we were supposed to make it 7 minutes, it ended up 20.
Yeah.
And he performed it, and it was astonishing. I mean, it was absolutely astonishing. I've seen the play, but to watch him perform it on screen, and we're really proud of it. It's in festivals at the moment.
Yeah.
At some point, we'll bung it out. I'll bung it out on YouTube.
Okay.
But it was just an exercise. Primarily, I wanted to do it because I wanted to understand about the nuts and bolts of filmmaking.
Yeah.
So I needed to understand what a sound man actually does, what a cameraman actually does,
yeah.
what a gaffer does, how lighting works, all those sorts of things. And that time at BFBS taught me all that.
Yeah.
And making Battle Cry and Jack and Jill allowed me to put it all together. I was with an all-veteran crew, which was amazing.
Yeah.
You know, so we planned everything, and it was just like bang, 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 bang. It was very quick. We shot both in a day.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a great experience. But I wouldn't do a feature, I don't think.
Okay.
Feature's too much like hard work.
The term military precision rings a bell here. You know, everything's running smoothly and interlocking with, you know, like a project plan. You know, one thing comes first and a milestone. And
yeah. Well, I mean, certainly with Jack and Jill, we knew exactly what we wanted to do, and in fact, with both, we knew exactly what we wanted to do. We knew what we needed to do it.
Yeah.
So we spent. I mean, Jack and Jill, I worked on right over Christmas, making sure everything was pulled together, so everything would be in the right place at the right time. The scripts were done, the shots were done, the equipment was there, people were there, and because it's quite a heavy. Battle Cry in particular is a very heavy play, and some of the lads I was with. And by lads I mean men and women.
Yeah.
Because lads is military for blokes,
crew. Yeah.
Like guys, crew. And I knew some of them suffered with PTSD quite badly, so I showed them a bit of the rehearsal, and one of them said, "I can't be around that. I can't watch that." And it transpires that he'd been involved in some of the things that they talk about in the play, and he was, he suffers with PTSD, but quite badly.
I brought it back to him.
Yeah, it's really sad. It's really experience to watch him at times battling it, and he's a strong character, he's a strong guy, and he's doing really well now, but he knows his limitations, and he knows what he can and can't be around. So, and you get to the point where everything's in place, right down to a kettle, milk to make tea and everything. And your actors turn up and you go in set and you're shooting straight away. And the interesting thing for me was that all of the actors we used, because we used professional actors, they all said this is the most professional and efficient film set we've ever been on.
Excellent.
It was just like bang, 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 right through. I mean, we filmed for Jack and Jill, I think we filmed something like 103 scenes in 6 hours.
Oof.
Which is insane.
That's incredible. I've worked on a film.
We had a break for lunch. It was insane. But it was all down to planning. Everybody knew exactly what they needed to do, what they were doing. Yeah. The only variable, oddly, was the actor, because he'd never been with us before. Yeah. He turned up on the day. But it was proof that, veterans are very smart.
Yeah, I can imagine.
That's what we do, is planning. It's all down to planning. If you get that right, the rest is easy.
I worked as a film extra on a film, In the Name of the Father, with Daniel Day-Lewis, about 20 years ago. Yeah. And I was there for 10 hours, and they got something like 10 seconds worth of film from that 10 hours. So that's incredible. You can get that many scenes cut in.
That's frightening. And it's frightening when you're a producer, because you're watching all these guys standing around and you're thinking, I'm paying these.
Yeah.
I'm paying you to literally sit around and do nothing. Yeah. It's absolutely ludicrous. It's the film industry is so inefficient. Yeah. I mean, they're all on strike at the moment.
True. Yeah, that's true.
And it's like, well, if you were more efficient, maybe you'd have more money to pay people. I mean, writers are historically poorly treated, even though without them you haven't got an industry at all.
Of course. Yeah.
And so hopefully it's all going to change. Hopefully it's going to kickstart a big change. But yeah,
brilliant. So, are you happy behind the camera? Have you fancy yourself becoming an actor, rehearsing a few lines,
absolutely
and getting in front of the camera? No,
absolutely not. No.
In the past, you've been a presenter, haven't you? Like Granada, the Man in Motors, many years ago.
I when I left the Air Force, I did a lot of work as an extra. Which was really interesting. It was great fun. And then I did some presenting, which was also good fun. because I was mostly doing motorsport stuff, which I love.
Yeah, yeah.
But in terms of acting, no. I mean, I've been around proper actors and I've seen proper actors work.
Yeah.
And it's off the scale.
Yeah.
You know, what they do and how they transform themselves. I mean, Steve, who does Battle Cry,
Yeah.
when I first saw the play, which is a 90-minute play of just him on stage, there's no intervals, just bang, he goes right through.
Yeah.
And it's very heavy. It's a really tough watch.
Yeah.
Because he basically has a breakdown on stage.
Yeah.
And afterwards, we were all stood around talking, and I was talking to this guy, and I've been talking to him for 10 minutes before I realized it was Steve.
Yeah.
And he looked completely different.
Still in character.
About him, yeah, the guy who'd been on stage, it was
Yeah,
him
yeah,
I was talking to. And it was, and he said, I have to transform into that character. I have to be that character. And I've seen other people do it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's Vincent Regan. We have Vincent Regan in Top Dog, which was my second film.
Yeah.
He was incredible, you know, to be around. Ricky Harnett is amazing. He you know, he just becomes that person.
Yeah.
It's a phenomenal thing to watch, but I could never do that.
Yeah.
It's a real skill.
Wasn't the Liverpool actor Stephen Graham, was he in Top Dog? I know he was in one of your films.
No, Stephen Graham's never been anything of mine. I wish.
Yeah. Do you know what?
Yeah.
I think it's because of the fact that the last 5 films I've seen, he's been in every one of them as a different character. So
Yeah, he's in
my
everything.
main thinking
I'm sure there's more than one of him. Yeah, I'm sure he's a twin. There's 2 of them banging around. But I mean, what an actor! You know, he can do anything.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
it makes it look effortless.
Yeah.
Which is a skill, of course.
Cool.
It's not.
Skill wise, do you see yourself as basically you were a writer, you were a filmer, you wear a lot of different hats. What would you say is your main skill? Director, actor?
I don't know if that's for me to answer. I mean, I like writing. I like coming up with stuff. I'm not a great writer.
2 million books, 2 million book sales. That's the
yeah. No, and books are different because I write books in a kind of. I write books for me, you know, guys like me, right? So I know I write in a way that I want to read stuff. It's very simple. There's no, you know, it's nothing flowery in there. It's just very quick, you know. If I do a novel, it's very, very quick paced. It's bang, 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 bang all the way along.
Yeah.
It's written in little blocks, so you can dip in and out of it all the time. You don't have to read these long, like rambling chapters of Nif Naf.
Yeah.
But I can tell a story, you know. Now, when you write a script, scripts are very clearly defined about the way you have to put them together. And so I can tell a story and I can put a story into that script, but I'll do maybe a 3rd draft. So I'll do 3 rewrites on my script before. And how I like to work is bring a director in at that point or get a director involved. Because then he can tell me what he wants, because it's a director's movie. Then it's not
visual.
my movie.
Yeah.
So he can tell me what he wants, and I can give him what he wants. Now with Top Dog, which Martin Kemp directed, and Martin was amazing. You know, as a director, he's amazing. I don't know why he doesn't do more. He's an incredible guy to work with, as everyone on that shot will testify.
Yeah.
I did 17 rewrites of that script. And that was a script based on my own book.
Yeah.
You know, so I knew that story inside out, but he knew what he wanted on screen. And even up to the day we shot, you know, there were things that were changed. Even as he was about to say action, someone would say, hang on a minute, why don't we do this? That's not right. This is wrong. And he listened to everybody. That's his big strength. He listened to everybody. And if he thought, you know better than me, you know, then he'd take it on board and he'd go with it, and it worked. Top Dog is a really good movie. It's really underrated. But I think Top Dog, in terms of story, I think it's better than Green Street.
Okay.
Production values they're not as good as Green Street, because Green Street had a massive budget.
Yeah.
You know, but Top Dog is a great story. You know.
What's your next challenge then, Dougie? You're producing films, you've written novels, you've written non-fiction books.
At the moment, it's building Red Bus, really. I mean, I've got loads of projects on the go. We've got one which is at the Galway Film Festival this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Which we're hoping to raise finance for. I'm waiting for decisions on financing for 2 or 3 different ones as well.
Yeah.
We've got one with a TV series out with the BBC. We're just about to start work on. I always said I'd never do another gangster movie, but we're about to start work on one.
Yeah.
Because I think it's the right time, and I've got the right people pulled together.
Full
Just like one of
film.
them things, everything falls together, and it's and it's a great script. It's a very current idea.
Yeah.
So we're going to do that. I think we'll do that. There's other stuff on the go as well, which I can't talk about. But it's quite exciting at the moment.
On your website for the Red Bus, there's a column there for investment. You're encouraging investment into the Red Bus, into your film company.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's at the moment I fund pretty much everything.
Yeah.
And so it would be nice for someone to kind of bung some money in and allow us, because development costs a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
And it takes a long time to develop a project. So it would be nice. It'd be nice to get someone in to kind of share the load, if you like.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it makes life a whole lot easier. Other than that, once we get the first project away, I think we'll be all right, because we'll use any profits from that to get the next one going and the next one going and the next one going. And once I've got 4 or 5 projects which are teetering on the point of green lights at the moment.
Yeah.
And it's incredibly frustrating, but you kind of know one's going to go.
Yeah.
I'm fairly certain one's going to go. One in particular is going to go quickly.
Oh.
So, but it's tough out there at the minute. And the strike, I get the strike as a writer. I get the strike.
Yeah.
But it's not helping.
Yeah.
It's not helping guys like me, because there's only certain things we can do. We can't have any American involvement at all, really. Yeah. Which makes life difficult. Yeah. Because I'm a member of the Writers Guild of Great Britain. Yeah. So we're affiliated to the Writers Guild of America. So we've got a back. There's nothing to stop us doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we'll be blacklisted if we do.
Yeah, that's not good.
And that makes things very difficult. And there's, as a writer again, I want to support me fellow writers.
I can see the reasons
forever.
I can see the reasons why the strike. That there's this artificial intelligence. In theory, it can put all the actors out of work. If the computer can generate the image.
In theory, it could put everybody out of work.
All writers as well, yeah.
And you can write a script.
Of course, yeah.
Artificial, they can already do it. They just plagiarize other scripts and kind of sniff them around. Yeah. So it's very dangerous, but it's coming anyway.
Yeah.
So you just got to embrace it. Excuse me.
Sure.
For me, it's about, I'm 64, so I'm not going to be doing this forever anyway. But if you're 20 and you're a writer and you want to break in, traditionally it's very, very, for a writer to earn a full-time wage as a writer and make any serious money is very rare. People don't understand how rare it is. I mean, certainly in publishing, something like 6% of published authors actually earn enough money from their writing to call themselves a professional author. It's minuscule. Writing for film and TV is even worse. I mean, I've been offered opportunities to write a script from basic blank page through to shooting script, 500 quid.
What?
That's 3 months work.
Bloody hell.
It's mad. It's mad. That's what it's like out there at the moment. But you'll get people who do it for nothing because they just want to break through. And that's why short movies are important, because they get you through festivals.
Recognition.
You get recognition and stuff like that. Yeah. But there are hundreds of thousands of people. It's a battle.
Yeah.
Battle to get anything made now. But it comes back to one thing. And it's one thing I say to people all the time. It's all about the story. You can make a great movie out of a great story. But you can't make a great movie out of a poor story.
True.
And that people polish scripts forever. But if the story is poor, it's like polishing a turd. You're not going to do it.
Nice and sound.
You have an awful script. I've got one. I've just been asked to do one. It's not an awful script. It's a great story.
Yeah.
but it's you know, a script should be 102 pages maximum.
Yeah, yeah.
This is 165.
That's too long, isn't it? You know
So
that for a start, don't you?
63 pages to cut out of it. I mean, it's a page a minute. So it's an hour to cut out of this story. But it's a great story. So I may well take that on and push that project. So I've got a meeting about that on Sunday. It's very different from, I mean, everything I do is different from everything else. I don't do one kind of genre. But a lot of it to do with scripts is luck. Right person, right place, which is why festivals are important. Festivals and short movies, they get you out there, get you seen. Competitions are the same. You know, it's all about, it becomes expensive. I mean, people are, you know, to enter a festival of a short movie, you're looking at anything from nothing to 150 quid. Well, you do 10 of them, it's 1,500 quid.
That's true,
You know, but you've got to go in, you know, you've got to, if you want to go that route, you've got to be prepared to pay for it. It's crazy.
It gets the recognition and the word of mouth. Dougie, I think Sam's caught up with us. I could chat with you all night easily, but it's been absolutely brilliant chatting with you for a second time. And can we keep in touch?
Of course. I'm happy. Yeah, just keep in touch. I mean, there's lots I want to talk about. I'd like to talk about. And there's a lot I want to talk about, but I can't talk about in terms of projects and stuff like that. But when I've got something to tell you that's concrete, I'll drop you a line and we'll do something.
Brilliant. Yeah, let's do that. All right.
I'll give you an exclusive.
Brilliant. Yeah, that's absolutely superb. But for now, Dougie, before the time runs out, thank you very much.
Absolutely my pleasure. Anytime.
Cheers,
I'll
Dougie.
speak to you again.